Hello everyone. Today we are discuss about peak to average power ratio Papr. Origin of the peak to average ratio problem. Major problems of OFDM is that the peak amplitude of the eliminated signal can be considerably higher than the average amplitude. Peak to average ratio issue or origination. An OFDM signal is the superposition of n sinusoidal signals on different subcarriers. On average, the emitted power is linearly proportional to n. Sometimes the signals on the subcarriers add up consecutively. Amplitude of the signal is proportional to n. The power thus goes with n power 2. Peak average power ratio to increase linearly expected with the number of subcarriers. Methods to deal with the peak to average power ratio. Put a power amplifier into the transmitter that can amplify linearly up to the possible peak value of the transmit signal. Practically impossible. Use a non-linear amplifier. Amplifier characteristics will lead to distortion in the output signal. These non-linear distortions destroy orthogonality between subcarriers and lead to increased out of band emissions. Peak to average ratio reduction techniques. Coding for peak to average ratio reduction. Under normal circumstance, each OFDM symbol can represent one of 2 power n code words assuming band BPSK modulation. Of these code words, only a subset of size 2 power k is acceptable. Its peak to average ratio is lower than a given threshold. Both the transmitter and the receiver know the mapping between a bit combination of length k. The code word of length n is chosen to represent it and which has an admissible peak to average ratio. The transmission scheme is as follows. Phase the incoming bit stream into block of length k. Select the associated code word of length n. Transmit this code word via the OFDM modulator. The coding scheme can guarantee a certain value for the peak average power ratio. The coding method can guarantee a maximum peak to average ratio value, but requires considerable overhead and thus reduced throughput.